Hello, friends. It's me, Georgina Wonder. Today, in this video, I want to talk about a dream that I have with my fur baby, Charlie. Charlie was my doggy that I love so much. We had such a wonderful connection. I love this baby since the moment I got him. It was like love at first sight. I adopted him at this thrift no at this flea market. I was gonna say thrift shop. At this flea market in Florida, and he was in a litter of like six, and all the other puppies were like jumping around and like trying to get my attention, but he was like in the back, like curled up by himself, and I feel so sorry for him because he was all alone, and I just went and grabbed him, and I started like, holding him and stuff like that, and then kissing him, whatever, and then I put him on the floor, and then he was so happy. He started jumping. Well, whatever. I fell in love with him, and so I adopted him. I'm sorry, I have allergies. So then, he became older, like 13 years passed after that day that I adopted him, and then he got really sick, and he couldn't walk. He was not eating, and so I took him to the vet, and then the vet, of course, said to put him down. And I never done that before in my life with any of my dog that I had before. Like it was like a nightmare because he was the love of my baby, my son, Charlie, the son that I would never have. And I had to, witness this. I saw him when he died. I was there in the room. It was very traumatic. Even now, I think about it and I want to cry, but I won't. So anyway, um, so I was able to dream with him finally after a year and 8 months that he passed away on February the 13th, a day before Valentine's Day. And it was also my sister's birthday, my sister Lolly's birthday. So it was kind of like a really sad, dramatic day. But anyway, so I had a dream with him. And I am so excited to talk about this and share it with you guys because I asked Hekate for this. I asked her to grant me this gift of seeing him in my dreams because after he died, I haven't dreamed with him nothing until November 21st, the morning of November 21st. I was it was like around 7 o'clock, but it happened in between unconsciousness and consciousness. You know, that state, that liminal space, because, it was Hekate. Hekate gave me this gift. So it was in that liminal time where you are asleep and awakening. And so I want to share this dream with you. Stay tuned. I, in the dream, I was in this. It was like I came out of my body, right? I came out of my body and I was floating, and all of a sudden, I'm in this house that I didn't know what it was or where it was and who owned it or whatever, but it felt familiar. Like I was really like, what is this place? It's beautiful. It was like an old place, like with wood furnishings. Like it was the walls were wood, the windows, the floors, the furniture, everything was like a wooden cabin, like a cabin like that. And it was naturally lit with like right now how it is lit here. You see like that. And but it was instead of, concrete, it was wood, and there were plants and stuff, and there was a table Oh my God, hold on. Let me turn this music off. So, so then I was sitting on a dining table, right? I was sitting on a dining table, kind of like this one, but it was, instead of rectangular, um, it was, wait, hold on, let me move it here. It was round. And then I'm looking around and I see a couple, but it was two men. And one was old, like a grandpa, and then the other one was young, like my age, like around my age, 57. And so then the guy that is the youngest is cutting the older guy's hair, right? And the older guy is sitting on a swing chair, those swing chairs that you go like this. So he's sitting in one of those, and it was beautiful, old, like that. And those have been in our interior design, part of our interior design since I was a kid. We always have those here, and we have a pair of them in the porch, on the porch. And so this old man was sitting in one of those, and then the younger guy, he was cutting his hair. So then I was just like, I don't know them, but I know them. Like I know them. And the younger guy, I was like his girlfriend. Like he was my boyfriend, but I never seen them before. In the dream, these people, I knew these people. But anyway, like the thing was, la cosa fue que. So then I'm sitting down right on the dining table, and I'm eating something. I'm eating chips with like fruits and stuff, and I'm eating and stuff. And then all of a sudden, this black bird, this grackle, here in Puerto Rico le dicen changos, que son like, they're like small little birds, and they're black, and they're like our versions of crows. So the grackle, so that he came and started eating my food, and I was like, oh my God, how peculiar, how sweet. And so then I let him, and I was just like, admiring everything, because everything was so vivid, so vivid. It was amazing. I astral travel to this place. I astral travel, like, because I was just like everything like this, right? Like right now, this, like I'm looking at, it was just like this. The movie, the dream was just like that. So then I look down on the floor, because that bird is eating, and it's like all this food is jumping and stuff, because the way that the birds eats is that way, like they like pick on them and like and crash them, and so all these chips of like were spilling on the floor and stuff. And so then I look down and I see a crow. Like this was a crow that was on the floor eating the scraps from the grackle. So then I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God, a crow. All right. I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden I see Charlie coming, my doggy. I see him coming, and I see that he started getting like rowdy, like started barking. And it was because he wanted to play with the crow. This is how he used to do this all the time. Whenever he wanted to play, he would start barking, and then he would like go around like this, twirl, and then stop and bark and like go like this. So that's what he was doing, exactly what he was doing. And when he started doing that, and I immediately knew that I was dreaming, and that Charlie was dead. That this was something that this was exactly what I asked Hekate to give me. Like this was a Hekate gift. she was gifting me this, and I started crying. And I'm like, okay, put yourself together, grab Charlie. So I grabbed Charlie and I started hugging him and kissing him and like, oh God, my baby, I finally have you in my arms. I'm kissing you again. Oh my God, smelling him, kissing him. It was like such a wonderful experience. I was so like, I couldn't believe it. I was present. I was, I, I, I knew that I was dreaming. Like I haven't had a dream like this since I think like the last time that I had a dream like this was when I was a little kid. That I used to have them all the time. But like as an adult, I never had a dream that I'm aware that I'm dreaming. And so when I was hugging Charlie and kissing him and everything, I was like, Hekate, thank you. Thank you for this. You gave me this. Thank you. I love you. Thank you for listening to me, but for being present in my life. Forget it. I just went to town thanking Hekate. And so I woke up. And that was the dream. I woke up. And so when I woke up, I just like started crying and like thinking about the dream and how vivid it was. And it just felt like a miracle. It was so magical. That place where it took place, that dream where the dream took place, and that place, that house, that living room, it was so beautiful, so magical, so cottagecore, so out of a book, out of a storybook. It was beautiful. And then those two gentlemen, those two men, they had this beautiful moment, like this young guy cutting the older guy's hair. Like it seems like it was like the grandfather and the grandson. It was just great. It was beautiful. And it was just a beautiful scenario, beautiful dream. And so I decided to write it down. I wrote down the dream, and then I decided to get a tarot and pull out some cards, so to get some, I don't know, confirmation from the cards and stuff like that. So then I grabbed the tarot fauna. Tarot fauna. It is an animal. Excuse me, an animal tarot. Since it was a dream with animals and the main character was Charlie, my baby, I decided to grab that tarot. And this tarot is very special because the major arcanas are different. It's still rider weight. The rider weight is still based on the rider weight. But they changed the names. Like the cups were shells, and then the major arcanas, I got mindfulness. I got mindfulness first, and then I got the page of shells. The page of shells is the page of cups. And so, hold on. Okay, I have to change scenarios because I was getting really hot over there. So the page of shells. The page of shells is the page of cups in the Rider Waite. And to me, it represented Charlie and the older guy and the younger guy. Like, I think it was the son, father. It could have been a son, father, son, or grandfather and grandson. It was a beautiful moment because it was a younger guy cutting the hair of an older guy. So it was like a tender moment. It was like a how do you say, it was a beautiful moment. Like they were sharing, like intimate moment. They were sharing together as siblings, as family, and I also had like a romantic attachment to the younger guy. I felt like he was my boyfriend. So also like the possibility of a romantic relationship maybe, and then Charlie being, to me Charlie was always like a baby, like a young baby, like dogs, there are babies, even though they're he died of old age, like he was 13 when he died, when I had to put him down. But he he was still my baby. He was still silly and cute and spontaneous, and very cute, and youthfulness. The page of cups represent youthfulness, and well, Charlie to me represents that youthfulness and sensitivity. He was very sensitive always, like, and he would always come to me like for forgiveness or whatever. Like he was just like, it was very he was very emotional, and I was very emotional in that dream. I was very emotional, and I embraced that. I was able to embrace that there, and realize that I was grateful for the moment as well to Hekate, and sensitive. I was very sensitive about everything, and it was a new experience for me. Like I haven't experienced that type of dream in such a long time. Like I remember it used to happen when I was little, but I never had them. I mean, I had one dream one time with my father that he was sitting there in the dining table, and I was in this other corner over here looking at him, and it was also very vivid, and I knew that I was dreaming, but I didn't say it out loud like in this dream. Like this dream, I was like, I'm dreaming, and I know Hekate had to do with this. Like I said her name out loud. Hekate has something to do with this. She's here. I can feel her presence. This is her gift to me. Thank you, Hekate, and I thank her. And I was aware. So it's like a new experience, full of emotions. The Page of Cups represents this, like all these things that I was experiencing, and I'm looking at life in a different way now. I'm looking at life in differently after this dream. Like I need to appreciate everything, because mindfulness is the other card, the other major arcana. That was a major arcana, because what happened with the Tarot of Fauna, it doesn't have a booklet, and you're supposed to interpret it like the Rider Waite meanings, like that you have to follow the Rider Waite booklet, and the way that they describe it. So it's in the same category as the Rider Waite. And so mindfulness, and the Page of Cups being the Page of Shells, and then mindfulness to me is one of the major arcana. I can't really think of which major arcana this will be, like mindfulness. Anyway, so mindfulness also meant, it's also referred to the dream that I was mindful of where I was, and I was immediately thankful to that moment, and I grabbed Charlie so that moment would last longer. Like, and this is what I have to bring this to our realm, to the awakened world. Like I have my mom who's sick, and she's on her last, I think she just turned 83, and she has this dementia that is advanced, and I have to appreciate every moment that I have with her right now, and love her, and kiss her, and walk with her, and do anything I can to appreciate her presence right now. And this house, and like how things are right now in the world with this administration and the world, the state of the world, how crazy it is, and people dying everywhere, and people losing homes and citizenships and families and all. It is like, is the card represents that, like, be mindful of the things that you're, be grateful, be mindful of the things you have, be mindful of the moments of where you at, and what you can achieve to to be happy in the moment, to be satisfied with who you are, to yourself, and thankful, constantly thankful for what you have, because you never know when you're not going to have it. So it was just everything that happened that morning of November 21st was mind blowing. It was a miracle. It was, I astral travel to where Charlie's at right now with his new family and friends like the birds. Hekate gave me this experience, and I I was blown away. It was mind blowing. Like, I can't believe Hekate is such a powerful goddess this way. Like, it's amazing the things that she would show you and guide you through, because she has the key to all these realms, the dream realm, the death after, the afterlife realm. And she gave me this experience to have with my Charlie, and I've been asking her every day since a year and 8 months ago when Charlie died. I've been asking her for a dream with him, and I finally have it, and it was perfect. I couldn't ask for anything better than this. And I just also want to share some quotes from different books that because I immediately went on searching information in books and stuff, and how Hecate manifests her powers through dreams, because of course dreams are liminal. They're in the in between, like, and I had that dream in the in between conscious and unconscious. Like, I was waking up, like I was about to wake up, but I was, you're in that state of dreaming still. That's when the dream happened, and that's one of the realms of Hecate. That's a liminal space. Dreams are liminal, and in that state in particular is very liminal. It's a perfect liminal space of Hecate. Hecate is liminality itself. So I knew in the dream that it had to do with her. She was the one who was able to give this to me. She was the one who used her powers to give me this experience, and I am so thankful for this. And so I want to share a few quotes from different books that I have read, and that I have here in my witchy library. I wish I had a witchy library, but just a few books that I have here that I have bought because of Hecate. And of course, I'm gonna tell you the names and stuff like that. So hold on. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the quotes that I got from the different books that I found, where in ancient times they used to talk about this power that Hecate have with dreams, and how her being a liminal goddess, because she was also always been in ancient times, she's been referred to as a liminal goddess. Like, that the moon is liminal because it's in between the earth and the sun, and this is her abode, this is her domain, this is her home. Like, she is just like Artemis and Selene and Cybele. Well, she is also a moon goddess, excuse me. the moon, especially the dark and the new moon, are related to her. They are her moons, because in ancient times they used to do the Deipnon, which is on the dark moon. They used to put out food for her in crossroads, as a ritual for thanking her, to ask her for favors. And then in Numania, which is the new moon, also they would do the same thing with fresh food and fresh produce, and they would do it at the crossroads as well, or on her altar, in liminal spaces, the entrance of cities, and the entrance of your home, and crossroads. And so, okay, so let's start with, in the book, The Temple of I wrote them down. In the book, The Temple of Hekate by Tara Sanchez, it says, the power of dreams was not something to be underestimated in the ancient world. For in the realms of sleep, the dreamer could be visited by gods and demons. They could be cured or cursed, and even influenced by other human beings who practice magical arts. Famous sanctuaries were constructed purely for the purpose of sleeping in sacred space, in the hopes that the god to which the sanctuary was dedicated would aid the sleepers in whatever that they sought. Healing was a very popular request. It also points out that in the Greek magical papyri, in the same book, the Temple of Hekate, she also says that in the Greek magical papyri is littered with spells which professed from everything making the victim die as a result of the dreams that were sent, to making a desirable female fall in love with the magician performing the spell. The ritual of the cat evoking Hekate to aid in sending the ghost of a poor dead magi to terrify unsuspecting dreamers in their sleep. It is a particularly relevant example considering the deity involved. So they used to also call on Hekate in ancient times. The Greek magical papyri is this book with a lot of spells from the ancient world, even in Egypt, Greece, Anatolia, I think, and Turkey, Lagina, all those places, because Hekate had a cult in Lagina in Turkey, and it says also that it might started in Anatolia. In a lot of these books, they talk about that. And then in Hekate Soteira, another book by Sarah Eels Johnston, in chapter 3, Hekate roles as guide, excuse me, intermediary, the mistress of the moon. Okay, so these are titles. Hekate Soteira is the name of the book by Sarah Eels Johnston. And in chapter 3, Hekate's role as a guide and intermediary. And then mistress of the moon. And then the quote starts, the Middle Platonic school popularized the idea that the moon was both a liminal point and a transmissive or mediating entity between the sensible and intelligible worlds, an idea that persisted throughout later antiquity in philosophical and mystical thought. And in continuation, in page 31, in the middle of the paragraph, it says, the first association of Hekate with the moon appear in philosophical literature Plutarch, and in a drama written by the philosopher Seneca. These are authors likely to have been influenced by the philosophical mystical sources that the moon, an intermediary principle. So you see the correlations between the dreams and the moon and liminal space and Hekate. And furthermore, in chapter 4, page 61, fragment 189 supports the idea that the Chaldean Hekate was a goddess who served as a transmissive intermediary between the sensible and the intelligible worlds. And then it says, furthermore, Psellus was a Byzantine philosopher from the 11th century who probably was inspired by Proclus, one of the major Chaldean philosophers of late antiquity. Makes Hekate the source of dreams, especially her girdle, is understood as a symbol of this power. Psellus' eagerness to place the Chaldean Hekate in control of this process may be based in part on his understanding of her as an intermediary goddess, particularly one of who stood between the divine and human worlds and controlled the messengers between them. And then Cindy Brannan, another author who I respect in the matters of Hekate. She has related Hekate with dreams as being her source of communication. And so, quote, when I'm asked about beginning a relationship with Hekate, my response is always to look to your dreams. Trust me, she's been trying to get your attention your entire life. Dreams can offer illumination into your own darkness from aspects you need to heal to long abandoned desires. They can also be about the external world, providing insight into relationships, situations, and others. Dreams are communications from the unconscious. Their symbols can evoke strong emotions. When we enter the darkness of sleep, we go into Hecate's world. As we wander in the dreamscape, our physical selves vanish into something more. We walk among archetypes, tread in the web of the universe, and stretch beyond our mortal limitations. It is a sad state of affairs that our culture devalues the importance of dreams. From entering Hecate's cave, the journey through the darkness. So these were the quotes I wanted to read to you, to also highlight some of the books that will talk about this power that Hekate have and dreams, and how she communicates through dreams. And so just for you guys to consider that she might be communicating with you through dreams, and she's guiding you through the dreams. She's guiding you. She's telling you how to perceive life, whatever you're going through at the moment, whatever problems you're going through. Like, she's probably telling you how to confront this through dreams, because it's her liminal spaces. This is her realms. This is her domain. The liminal is her domain. She is the liminal goddess. She's a Titan goddess of liminality. Okay. So in conclusion, I'm going to read you something that I wrote after I had the dream, and I wrote everything, and I read the tarot. I read this, and I want to share it with you. Hekate will reward us with a beautiful dream or something more suitable for us if we let her challenge us when we walk with her in the shadows. She wants to see the effort we make to continue the journey. She's observing our progress as we transformed into the people that we need to be after the journey. She is and always will be the witness we deserve as we transform ourselves into the people she always hoped us to be, and she will reward us with a glimpse of her world, with a prophetic dream in the astral world, in her liminal domain, reaffirming us that she is the living goddess of our times. Hail Hekate. So thanks for watching. I hope you like the video. I hope you get something out of it. And if you have your perspective on the dream and you want to share it with me in the comments, I would love to hear from you guys, and if I miss any symbols, if I miss anything on like the tarot that I was able to pull out, the cards that I was able to pull out, please let me know in the comments. Share with me what you think, and blessed be, and Hail Hekate. Ciao.